right now they claim that the South American regions are really the most booming and populous Adventist membership in the world. I can tell you with absolute certainty, because I've been to dozens and dozens, if not at this point hundreds of Adventist churches across North America, and those numbers aren't adding up. The
Yeah.
numbers that they're talking.
Interesting.
The church right now, I think, and this is again opinion, I could be totally wrong, but I would tend to lean in the direction of the numbers that Ty Gibson, is representing there or reporting. I bet if they were to be honest about the numbers worldwide and specifically in North America, there might be a few 100,000
Wow.
active members in the church in North America.
Wow.
And again, if someone can show me actual statistics to prove me wrong, I will gladly eat crow on that and say I'm wrong. But
I think,
I've been in a lot of these churches, and I can tell you, when you talk to a pastor on the phone and say, hey, we're planning an evangelistic series. How many members do you have at your church? Oh, we've got 400 members on the books.
yes.
And then I have to ask a follow-up question. Well, how many of those members actually are active every week in the pews coming to church?
Yeah.
Oh, on a good Sabbath, we might have 80.
Yeah.
And then I go to the church and I'm there a month. So I'm there over a period of 4 Sabbaths. And that number that the pastor said, 80, was more like maybe 40 or 50.
Right.
And that's in a church that boasts 400 members on the books.
Yeah.
I think what we're finding is that maybe not in other countries, but especially North American Adventism, maybe even there in the Australian region of the world, I think that you're probably going to see that the numbers on the books are not what's in the pews, not even close. Not even close.
David Trim, I think, estimates about 8 million active members. I need to work that out. I'm doing a show with James from Academy Apologia soon, and I'll get the facts on that. But even David Trim, the GC statistician, is saying they're way lower.
And what's even more amazing, it's been probably 3 or 4 years since I've done the research on this, but I prepared a sermon years ago called Euthanasia. Youth.
Yes, yeah.
Euthanasia, talking about the youth. And the numbers are astounding of some of the previous statistics that they've released in the Adventist Church over the last decade and a half. That they boasted, and I'm going all the way back probably about a decade, maybe 2013 to 15, somewhere around there, where they released numbers stating that for every 10 people they win to the church, 4 people are leaving.
Yeah.
Which, again, you would say, well, that's not ideal, but hey, at least we're on the up and up, right? We're winning. We might be winning 10 people, losing 4, but we're keeping 6. But what's amazing is when you start looking into that so-called 40+% that are walking out the back door and leaving, the stats are showing that a massive chunk, I'm talking about upwards of 80 to 90% of the people who are leaving this church every year by the thousands
huge.
are our youth between the
Yeah.
ages of 17 and 35.
Yeah.
And I know this to be absolutely sure because, again, speaking in hundreds of Adventist churches over the past decade and a half, when I go into the average Adventist church, and again, no disrespect here, but when you stand in the back of the church and you look and scan and survey the crowd, and all you see is, whitehead, 3-year-old,
Yeah.
whitehead, 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And again, I praise God for our elderly people. We need, those are I have no disrespect towards that at all. But when you're going to these churches and you're looking and you're saying, where's the young adults?
Yeah.
Where's the 17-year-olds? Where's the 18-year-olds? Where's the 25-year-olds? And I know someone's going to jump in the chat, or someone's going to come at me and, well, my church has a vibrant young people. There are some out there. I recognize that.
Yeah.
There are some of those, non-traditional churches out there that have a very vibrant young. I'm talking about the 97% of Adventist churches out there, especially in North America,
here
that have zero young adult presence. They have zero healthy teenage presence. And so my theory is that, based on the stats that I found, and again, this is dated 3 or 4 years ago, if Jesus don't come back in the next 20 years, there's going to be no Adventist North American church.
No.
And so it goes to show you, and then when you start digging into the reasons why these young people aren't attending church, it's astounding. It's fascinating. Yeah. Many times the older people want to say, well, they're just distracted by the world. And I know some of that stuff happens. I'm not denying that. I recognize that there are a lot of young people that are very much, they're battling that spiritual, world battle. I get it. But it's amazing when you actually start picking the brains of these young people and asking them, why don't you attend church regularly? What made you want to not continue to go to church, or what made you stop going? You'll start to find out that a lot of them, it's based on the fact that, Adventist culture, and the people seem very judgmental. And I've had some bad experiences. The pastor said something to me that, just kind of turned me off. And you'll be surprised how many, because some people think, our young people aren't connected with Christ. They're not studying their Bible. There's a lot of young people out there that are asking the same theological questions that I have. That are saying, I just don't know if I can subscribe to that Adventism because I see theological discrepancies. So there's a plethora of reasons why the young people aren't in the church. But regardless of the reason, the church has to wake up at some point and say, hey, we boast of a remnant church that's going to usher in the final movements of Bible prophecy, to take this gospel to the world and to transform people's lives with the real undiluted gospel of Jesus. If Jesus doesn't come back in 20 years, this church is gone. There's going to be no one here at least in North America to carry on this Adventist faith.